Today's topic, eat your vegetables. It's the first episode of our new daily series that still doesn't have a name yet, but I'm running an online poll, and at the moment it looks like the name will probably be TABLEscraps. So I'll replace this placeholder graphic with an actual title card soon. I'll probably ditch this intro music too. Hey everybody! Welcome to our first episode of our brand new series that we're going to run every weekday. It still doesn't have a name, but the people who are joining me in the live chat are voting in a poll today to finalize what the name of this show is going to be. So hopefully by tomorrow, we'll know exactly what this show that we're doing is called. But one thing that we do know is my name. I'm Chaz Marler, your host, and along with the YouTube live streaming chat, we are going to be discussing a topic about board games today. Today's topic comes from Daniel Robinson, who asks us to talk about the importance, or lack of importance, of adding variety to your gaming diet. Kind of a board game food pyramid, if you will. So Daniel, you ask a very, very interesting question there. And you know, I was originally going to answer this one way, and then the more I've thought about it over the last couple of days, the more I think I have changed my mind about the importance of having a varied, different diet. You know, should you always play the type of games that you're drawn to, or should you purposely mix it up, like Euro games and Ameritrash games and social deduction games and worker placement games? What should you do? Fortunately, I am not going to be answering this all by myself. We're going to turn to the YouTube chat, and they are also going to be giving their opinions on this matter. And so we'll kind of get a holistic groupthink type of crowdsourced answer to this question. So let's go over to the YouTube chat here real quick. Stefan starts us out by saying that he thinks that the funny thing about the pyramid is that in food pyramids, the most fun things are the stuff that you should do less often. Shouldn't that be the other way around for games? So that's a really good point about the food pyramid, Stefan. Like the fats and sweets and stuff are the little tiny cap on the top of the pyramid. But all the stuff that's quote unquote good for you is down at the bottom of the pyramid. And I guess that's true because nutrition doesn't necessarily have to be fun. So maybe right there, that is one of the core differences that we have here between games. Trying to correlate games to a food pyramid is that where a food pyramid is a thing for sustenance to keep you going, gaming, being a hobby, is meant to be fun. So perhaps artificially trying to give yourself a varied gaming diet, you know, perhaps it's not a good one-to-one analogy there because they're different things. I was thinking that trying to force yourself artificially to be an omni-gamer, trying a little bit of everything, I don't know if forcing yourself to always do that is really a good, healthy idea. Because doing that could make something that is supposed to be a fun pastime into a chore. Into work. And the last thing that you want to do is turn something you enjoy into a labor, because you will be finished you'll no longer have fun doing it. So that's the thought that crept into my dome that made me eventually start to think, you know, maybe it's not as important to force yourself to vary your gaming diet. Now, of course, I think it's important to be open to trying new things. But once you've kind of tried a new thing, if it's not your favorite, I don't think a person has to feel obligated to continue, you know, trying that. Stefan followed up with that by saying that I guess that most people out there tend to go for variety automatically if they're bored from always playing the samey old stuff. And that's a very good point there. Perhaps it's a problem that will take care of itself. You know, it's something where if someone is playing the same thing too often all the time, you know, perhaps nature will run its course and they will get bored of that same type of game and want to try something different. I think, too, it may also depend on the people you play with. I have several different groups that I play with, and one group is very, very Eurogame centric. Always playing Eurogames as the central thing. Another group I have really likes co-ops, and oddly enough, also some backstabby lighter games. And then still others are truly omnivores, and it's a mixed bag, almost a random selection every time we play. So I think maybe having a variety of play groups may be more conducive to getting a varied gaming diet than forcing yourself to just try different games. Maybe have a variety of different gaming outlets. That may be the solution and the more important one. Let's go over here back to the chat comments, though. And let's see what's actually floating up on my screen next here. We have a comment from Kenny who says, I agree, says Kenny. I agree about false equivalencies / analogies. You know, play what you want. I would encourage everyone to try new things, but if there are genres, mechanisms, or themes that that you don't like, that's okay. So there you go. Let's continue on. Dave, right after Kenny's comment, there's a comment here from Dave who says, the thing is, here's what the thing is. Well, here's what the thing is to Dave. The thing is, I may scoff at Eurogamers, but if you look at my collection, I've got Stone Age, Terra Mystica, Caverna, Castles of Burgundy, Puerto Rico, and Seven Wonders, so Dave says that he is a walking contradiction. And yeah, I don't necessarily think that you're a walking contradiction. I'm wondering, Dave, why those games that you usually scoff at are in your collection. Is it because you play them? Is it because you keep them handy in case other people that would like to play them come by, and so you have them available? You know, there's many different reasons why those can be in your collection. So, Dave, I think you're okay. I don't think you are necessarily a walking contradiction. I think you just have layers. I think there's a little more to Dave than first met the eye. Stefan, our highlighted chat participant of the day here, Stefan mentions variety in the collection is useful when you play games with different groups. So he certainly agrees with that. I guess, says Stefan, that most people with bigger collections have stuff they don't pick first, but maybe they keep around for casual games and stuff like that. So again, too, that also highlights, underscores Dave's complexity there. You know, having these games available for other people. Definitely something that I think has merit to it. Oh, and here we have a follow-up from Dave who just points out that Dave plays those Eurogames. I play those Eurogames when my more highbrow gamer friends are in the vicinity. There we go. We have our collection containing different games for different gaming groups and scenarios. So again, I think that's perfectly okay. Perfectly okay, and that's awesome time. Let's go to a comment from Eric next, who says, I'm not a fan of the Lovecraft themes, and I like Pandemic. So I shouldn't pass on playing the Reign of Cthulhu just because I'm not a fan of the theme. I may find it's just, one game that I like. That's a really good point right there as well, because so far in this conversation, I have been focusing on genre as the determining factor of a varied gaming diet. Eurogames versus Ameritrash versus social deduction, etc. But Eric, you make a really good point. Theme could also be something that someone can drill into or can prevent them from having a varied diet. If you don't like the Cthulhu theme, there are now thousands of games potentially that you won't be playing because they all have the Cthulhu theme pasted onto them, whether they need it or not. The varied theme is another aspect of board games that, right along with the various genres, are another way in which another aspect of it we can look at to vary our gaming diet. And I'm sure that there are more different other things in addition to theme and genre that we can look at. So it may be that creating a varied food pyramid-like gaming diet may actually be simpler than we think, because it could be various themes, it could be various genres, it could be various publishers, it could be various designers. There's lots of different ways that we can experiment with this. So it may be a problem that may be able to solve itself in that way, or be simpler to solve than we first thought. I was thinking, okay, if we take the traditional 4 basic food groups, vegetables, grains, dairy, and meats, what games that you enjoy or don't enjoy, what have you, what games would you fit into each of those 4 food groups? For example, for myself, a game like Terra Mystica would be my vegetables. I know it's good for you and you got to try it, but it can be really difficult for me to find the time and the opportunity to choke it down. So Terra Mystica would be my vegetables. As for the grains, something that's versatile, but you can't live on bread alone. But so something that's really versatile, but you can't live on that game alone, to me would be HeroScape. I love it. It's my favorite game of all time. You can use the minis and the terrain and everything in lots of different games, but you can't just play that one game you got to branch out. For dairy, something that you like, but you could easily become intolerant to. For me, my dairy games would be social deduction. I enjoy them, but certain games or playing too many of the same one, I can become social deduction intolerant. So social deduction would be my dairy. And finally, the meats. Something that's big and meaty and omnipresent that you can really dig into and chew on. Well, to me, that would be Magic the Gathering. There's so much content there and so much meat to pull off the bone with all the different sets and cards that have been around. Magic the Gathering would be my meaty game. So let me know in the comments below, of those 4 food groups, vegetables that you know are good for you, grains that are versatile but you can't live on that alone, dairy, which you like but you can easily become intolerant to, and meat with big meaty content that you can chew on. What would each game in each of your 4 food groups be? Again, let me know in the comments below. And that's it for this time. I hope this has given you something to think about and ponder and chew on, figuratively and maybe literally if you actually take the meaty analogy too far. But until next time, I have been Chaz Marler, along with the live streaming chat, producing another episode of this show, or actually the first episode of this series that has no name yet. So hopefully you'll join us again next time, and by then we'll have a name. But for now, take care. And slight pause as I try not to lose my place here. I'll edit this out when we're done. And then I'll be done editing this part out and I'll return with